Hi, everybody, and welcome to our album review for the Four Owls' brand new project, Nocturnal Instinct, which dropped like 2 weeks ago. I'm sure she'll get
April
the date.
17th, 2020.
That's what's up. So this is a relatively new album that we'll be covering here on the Classic Quest podcast, this show where we break down the classic hip-hop albums track by track, giving you thoughts and opinions on every song. That's right, I'm an excited YouTuber now. I'm not really, but we're trying it out. Anyway, my name is Holden Stefan Roy.
I am your lady friend Bonnie.
And what we do here is we take albums like The Four Owls' Nocturnal Instinct and we talk about them and we just tell you thoughts and stuff because we're on this journey to investigate the annals of hip-hop culture and understand it. And the truth is, classics aren't necessarily limited to the past. Sometimes some shit comes out today that can effectively be timeless because in my journey of understanding classics, it's about timelessness. So, effectively, we're looking to find timeless music across all eras.
And we're basically like fortune tellers at the same time.
I don't know about that.
We're saying it's classic forever.
Well, before we get into it, this episode, why we chose it, a good thing to start with, was brought to us as a Patreon request from the homeboy Ismail Gadamsi. On that note, if you support us and you like what you do, patreon.com/behindthatsuit. Check it out. Links in the description. Support us, please. We desperately need that shit. We are sucking. Anyway, I also make music. I'm dropping a single May 13th. I'm in dire need of love there too, so you can see a DistroKid link in the description of this video for my new song. I'm going to start shamelessly plugging a little bit more. Why? Because we put all this effort into talking about the stuffs and let's grow together. Anyway, so we could like to start off the show for reals, contextualizing our familiarity with these artists. So your lady friend Bonnie, why don't you tell us what you knew about the Four Owls prior to Ismail asking for this?
Nothing.
Me neither. All right. So honestly, we chose to do this project because of the Patreon request. However, he told me about the album, I think, before he requested it. And that was the same week of R.A. the Rugged Man. Maybe was around that time. There was still a lot coming out. So we did other stuff. It might not have been that week if I'm wrong, whatever. So, and the lyrics were not on Genius. So if you know me by now and you're a long-time watcher, if the lyrics are not on Genius, it's a lot less likely your album gets reviewed unless one of the homeboys goes, please review that album. And then I do the due diligence of sitting there.
And like some of the songs, like, I mean, you know, this is like a warning or whatever. I'm like, I don't have like so much to say about them because like
I do.
I know you do. But like but just like listening, like, you know, like I need to be able to read it and like, you know, get like a better understanding of it. I don't know. That's just how I work. But sometimes I don't have much to say.
So, I mean, as we go through this review, we're going to talk about some bars. I did my absolute best with first of all, we're Canadians. Please don't call us Yankees, because we're not. We're Canadians. We're part of the same Commonwealth. What's up, Queen Elizabeth? Word. Anyway, she's our queen too. So feel free to diss us for being ignorant North Americans or Canadians, but not Yankees. I'm just throwing it out. Because every time we talk about the UK in any way, I get called a Yankee. And I'm like, come on, I'm a Canadian.
Now you know someone's just going to write Yank or whatever. Like in the comments. Just
bring those comments and engagements.
To do that.
But I want to just state that I am so aware of my ignorance of UK slang. This is obviously the Four Owls being a UK group. I think they're from England.
I really like that they're Four Owls, and I like that they're four separate owls. Like one's like a barn owl, one's like a great horned owl, one's...
What? For real?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, they all kind of like have like their like personality, like they're different types of owls, and I like that, and I think that that's like a cool thing. Like, why not? Because owls are cool.
I could see that the dudes are basically also like individually rappers who all had careers who it seems kind of came together to form this group around 2011, I believe. There's not a ton of stuff on their wiki page, and there is a wiki page, not a ton. I did go on the label, but like the label's description of the band was very fluffed up in the way a label's supposed to do. So whoever does the copy for the bios of these people, it is actually like some of the best artist bios, because like they really play into the character of being. I know you weren't expecting us to talk about the artist bio on the website, but I just had to give kudos. I'm a copywriter, so I appreciate great copy, and they play into the lore of being owls and mystical bullshits and whatever.
Like wise owls and like, but also like killers at night.
So I know that from what I could tell in this whole project, because I might forget to say it, Leaf Dog does all the beats, and then there's Verb T in the group, Flip Tricks, and then BVA. So here's what's up, man. There are only three songs with lyrics online. For those 3 songs, I will proceed to use the names as I see them on Genius. For every other track, I could identify the featured artist because, I mean, it's pretty distinct when it's an American. But otherwise, I'm going dude 1, dude 2, dude 3,
like,
dude 4.
I can tell, like there's a difference between the guys, but I don't know who's
on
who.
on every, because Leaf Dog's the high-pitched one with the more melodic voice, so he was very distinct. Honestly, I could tell when Verb T was rapping, because he has like a more punchy, like I could tell all of it.
Okay.
But I didn't want to be wrong, so I'm not gonna guess, because.
Good call.
I could not necessarily. I could only really do Leaf Dog on every song, so I'm not even gonna bother trying. We're just gonna appreciate the bars.
And I also like. I just want to say this now. That they're like the Spice Girls. Like they're, or like, you know, like we've got Big Owl and like Bird T and Rusty Takeoff and like Deformed Wing, but they also have like Leaf Dog. Like they also have like they've got two different names, 2 different nicknames.
So yeah, look, I will try my best to get into my 4 Owls lore, and if you 4 Owls happen to catch this and wants to do an interview, well, we'll do it. We can do some cross the pond stuff, because it's honestly spoilers for those who may go into it. I love the album, so I'm excited to be here talking about it. That's why you got excited, passionate me on this project, because it's actually like right up my alley. It's called Nocturnal Instinct. It's very much playing up on the owliness of it all. Yeah,
and like the cover, it has like basically 4 different types of owls out there doing their thing. It's clearly nighttime. That's what's up.
And I like the art style on the cover.
Yeah.
It has that, I want to say, like old metal animation feel to it.
Okay.
But like not necessarily the same coloring, but like the feel of it. Like this is an album cover where it's almost designed for you to make sure that you could pick it up on a vinyl and still appreciate the artwork that went into the cover in an era where people put almost no effort into album covers. Because that shit could be a poster. It could be like something to wear on a shirt straight up.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool. I like it.
It's really nicely done. And what it also does is just with the purple coloring, it just stands out because it works as a tiny little thumbnail. Anyway, we do need to talk about the cover because it turns out under copyright law, by accident, we kept talking about the cover, but that's the only reason I can have the cover over there above Bonnie's head. It's because we do a little review on it, so technically we actually do cover the use of that. Otherwise, you're violating copyright law. Go figure. That's why we don't play the song clips either. It's just too complicated in this world. Anyway, it's a lovely cover, lovely title, but Sound the Alarm featuring Smellington Piff.
Let's do it.
All right, Bonnie, tell us about your impressions with Sound the Alarm.
Well, this one's really cool, and like you know it like right away. I really dig the beat on this one, like a whole bunch. Yep, it's like nice and jazzy, especially there's like the bass or whatever it is, like the cello. I don't know if there's
it does sound like a stand-up bass.
Yeah, I don't really know. I guess like the cello. I'm not sure about the difference between a cello and a bass is. Is it just like that stand-up part?
I mean, I'm certain there's a technical difference, but as a joke, I've always appreciated that the difference between a cello and a stand-up bass is the bow.
Is that true?
They're very similar.
Okay.
In theory, like you probably
sure.
like I'm certain.
I would have to like look at them like I guess next to each other. But anyways, you can tell it's the bass, I think. And like they're all like super like hype rappers, so that's awesome. And so it seems like these guys Like, I don't know. So we've got all these like random like nicknames, but with them, I think that's really cool.
All right, they got bars for days.
Yeah.
Ronnie is not the best at bars for days. Here's an example of what I mean. Literally, the first bar on the album caught me and made me giggle. Why? Because it's fucking clever.
Yeah.
Outdoing myself like public masturbation. Why? Because what's public masturbation? It's outdoing yourself. Yeah. But technically, he's outdoing himself as an MC, like the audacity of pub. And so basically, I was like, oh shit, Ismail knows what the fuck is up. There's only gold that I find like Egyptian casing. Shit hits harder than the blunt that they're lacing.
Yep.
And the rhyming is there. And it's just fun. But you gotta understand, it's more than... I don't know how to convey how good the flow is on this shit. Because, like, it's just seamless in a way where they fuck up how they pronounce stuff. Like masters. Like... I was really impressed at the technical proficiency of them as MCs. Perhaps you could argue maybe the message or whatever, blah blah. I don't care, because the fact is, when these motherfuckers rhymes, it's like check it. It's the rhyme vet. They grounded like a sidestep, dialects higher only few could ever grasp. I mean, it's just the way he spits it, like the way he goes from sidestep, dialects. It's like they do a lot of that kind of trickery going on inside of the rhymes. I know I'm not giving y'all the best examples. To be fair, I've only heard the album in a couple of days about 6 times, but like a good 6 times, yo. I was mesmerized. Every time I put it on, it just felt like this fucking bouncy fucking energy to it. Yep. It is so good. And it just kind of flows, right? Like, you get the sense in this track, we're fucking dope. So sound the alarm, because we fucking coming through. So unique that the government are marking him, hunt me down like I had superpower, harboring, harnessing my strength to be a problem for all. What's left is turned loose like an opening tour. And it's just like the idea of his audacity and his strength. And if you think about the fact that he's a fucking masked man with an owl mask on too, in this character, on top of all that, it's almost like he's a super villain being chased by I almost picture the PC police going after him, or the young cats trying to fuck up hip hop and all these things. And he's representing with his squad that fucking OG mentality of just rhyming. Because one thing about this beat is that it doesn't deviate a lot. It's like a stripped down, old school fucking beat that was like in the days where you would just rhyme and the beat didn't change up a whole bunch, but not that it didn't have a good groove, because it's not like How Do You Want It by Tupac. The beat barely fucking changes. It's just like one groove, and then all the vocal work carries the song. I feel like they pull off that same effect here. Their versatility and variation between each one of these dudes on how they lay it down just creates this melodic almost impact with the variations in their voices over the sparse beat to create this alive feeling, whereas the production of the beat effectively traps you and ensnares you in a groove where you're almost forced to do nothing but focus on the bars. So it's effectively that kind of hip hop. I really like it. Like just, and then the transitions, like the way verb T, whatever, I don't care. It's what I said on Genius. Yo, we switching out the frame like we benching weights. But if you think about it, it's like they fucking just handed off the torch and shit. They switched it up, and it just felt like a self-aware meta move. We were meant to play center stage. When I tread the main set to pay step away from the vehicle, I don't know your destiny. I love that. Like, he's coming in, he's meant to be a hero, but at the same time, he's kind of questioning of others because, whatever, he gives them hits, but I got to keep the rest for me. He's got to be aware of his situation, got to flow through. Is it really, I don't know, jumping a bit. My nerves are jumping all over and it's starting to get to me. Is it really telepathy, or am I reading it mentally? Where does the eventually? Guess you find it out eventually. I love all that. It's just like this anxious mess of knowing you're great and questioning the journey and shit. Typical underground stuff, I would say, but done in a way that's just fresh and invigorating. Like, you don't get this sense of mwah, mwah, mwah. You get the sense that they got bars and they're just dropping them over and over. The recipe they're unable to copy. Maybe they got me. Tables are turning and nature is working its magic. I'm swerving the track, bursting the barrier. It's just to me, it flows so well. They're dope, whatever. Flip Trick does this super punchy shit, like everywhere I go, I'm moving on the and it's like fucking doubles, just like smack you real fucking hard. And I noticed he does that a lot across the tracks. Again, can't tell you when he raps on the other ones, but I noticed he kept doing it, so it made his voice kind of stand up. I love it when he goes old school like Casio watches when he flow. Never know how the flow gets switched up when I swap it, and that felt like some good watch bars going on there. I don't know, I just enjoyed it. Like the topic shit will heat up like the tropics, will get held up like a hostage. That's my final diagnostic. then they throw you in a giant mosh pit, taking all your dosh until your life is at the final cost is. I hear this like, oh, he just kept it going. He kept laying it down. And it just fucking hit hard. And with the punchiness, it really fit the imagery of the words he's actually using, with the heavy hitting, the fucking violent kind of nature of the situation, the anxiousness of it all. Just felt real dope. I mean, I'm going to keep rolling through because I could again read every bar, but that might get kind of boring. The whole point is to exemplify that each of these dudes come through with almost a distinct flair on their flow, but they compound syllables like a motherfucker, creating this effective non-stop sense of rhyming. Or like I kind of like when Flip Tricks goes hyperventilating to these rhymes and percussions. Are they white or rhyming substance, iron eyes and abundance? That's the oneness that's wanted like hunters. So it's almost like, you know, people may question certain shit, but at the end of the day, they're about that art form and that craft above anything, and that's what flows. And then when you're watching the music video, Smellington Piff doesn't have an owl mask, which like makes sense, but he definitely stands out for not having it. But he's fucking cool too. I've never heard of him before, but he's kind of dope, you know? But they're gonna have to resurrect the Elliot Ness. I'm telling you straight, Lulin the Great, my troops record the revolution, and send me the tapes. I'm like, yo, is he dropping historical references and culture inside of his fucking bars? Even though whatever, but like it just felt like pretty dope actually. Wives fanning me with palm leaves, sending me grapes, or it's off with their heads. Call me Henry VIII. I'm like, that might be the most stereotypically British shit I've ever heard.
That's probably something that they learned in school.
But is it not like the most stereotypically British bullshit you've ever fucking heard? Yeah. I love it. It is so good. It is so like dope, and it's cultured. You know, anyway, my vampires attack until the sun arise. Why the fuck you acting unsurprised? The Dark Lord and the Death Star above the skies. Star Wars bars. Illegitimate king, you best believe this shit. I'm beheading anyone that's questioning my leadership. So the fact is that he really like ends the verse tying back into that Henry VIII line, right? Showing the consistency, taking on that role of the supervillain of hip-hop, coming through that'll fuck up shit on skill and whatnot. You gotta look at this almost like it's a battle and they're just fucking killing it with supremacy. They're basically Bruce Lee kung fuing shit unnecessarily complexly just to win the fight but give you a show.
Okay.
And then there's BVA, and then I feel like at this point I was just in love with them and their style. No homo. You don't need to say that, but I heard was listening to Lil Wayne earlier, so whatever. Back with a bang, hatching a plan to be a prodigy. At the same time, fatter to land. I used to smoke hash with my nan, and she told me that we stick it to the man. And I'm like, you know what's pretty cool about that? Like, in the midst of this, you just get this sense that even his family's got that gangster edge to it. Like, you know, you're sitting there with grandma smoking some hash, criticizing the world, being rebels and shit. Just kind of gives you a taste of where they come from and the kind of real that they bring to the table. I don't know. Overall, his verse is still good. I like the way he ends it. A bunch of G's up in Britain, always has been police. Trust the procedure, so we Ebenezer good. I ain't your usual bad character, actually nice, but still abuse and embarrass you face to face. So I kind of like that sense that, like, you know, basically they're not interested. Previous to that, they're not kind of like fucking divas. They're kind of OG. They're fucking proper. We don't fuck around. And I like the fact that they're like, yo, Britain's been gangster for a long time. Y'all just didn't even fucking know it. But y'all think we're the bad guys, but plot twist, we're actually nice. We'll still fuck you up or whatever. But y'all think you understand that shit. And I love when he ends it with, they think they come in raw, but get blinded by the camera. And then the song just kind of cuts, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh shit. Because effectively you think you got that shit from the soul. But the second the glitz and glamour pops up, it fucks you up and shit. All I have to say, it was pretty dope. I gave it a 4.5. It hit me.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this one's really good. It's, I mean, I like the overall sound. I like the rapping from all of them. I felt like Smellington Piff definitely sounded the whitest. But I thought it was a great intro. Overall, the whole thing was hype. I thought it was really, really good. And it's really easy to listen to. And, like, you know, in a way, they're just sort of like bragging and like puffing their chests about how good they are, and
which
like
they are,
and how they're going to destroy you, and
which they will.
You know, it's that kind of thing. But it's a hell of a good song. So I give it a 4.75.
Honestly, it's just Again, what makes a difference, I suppose, is sometimes not the lyrics themselves, but it's the delivery of the lyrics. The way these guys ride the pocket and the cadence, we're not giving it justice. You really need to hear it if you appreciate technical hip-hop to see why it's that good compared to like others who may even say similar shit. It's not, again, I'm not calling their writing exceptional so much as I'm calling their rhyming exceptional.
Okay.
Anyway, because the writing's
That's
alright.
true.
The writing, I'm not giving it a 5. I'm giving it a 4.5 because if the writing had also been like touching my soul deep, kind of like what RA was doing, crazy rhyming, but actually dropping like a serious amount of substance with it and variation. Anyway, next track's called Coming Home. There were not lyrics online for this one. All right, Bonnie, how do you feel about it?
Right away, cool mixing. I have to say that. And like they just like sound cool. Like it's just nice to listen to them. So they're just kind of talking about where they're from and what their homes are like now, and just sort of like comparing a little bit. And but like that their home is England. And I'm guessing, you know, they're sort of like been maybe like touring around and like they miss home and they just want to get back there and they want to return and they're excited to see their friends and their family. Yeah, I mean, their flows are really, really sick. I know you're going to get probably more into it. But yeah, I mean, this is like really good quality music. It's really well done. So I give this one a 4.5 on 5.
I love the fact that the beat is the same kind of simplistic, but like a different groove. So in the sense that when you hear the two songs back to back and actually as you flow through the album, there's a sense of consistency to the core sound. So straight up, if you're not feeling it 2 tracks in, you're not feeling it 14 tracks, 15 tracks, I think it's 14 tracks in. You're just not. This isn't your cup of tea, fair enough. But what I love about the beat work is it creates like a tapestry of just, it's almost like every song's a shade of green, maybe some blue in that core area, but they manage to just kind of hit so many different places on the color palette that it just turns into this nice spectrum as opposed to being like a bunch of the exact same copy paste blend of the shit. So like it's got some life in it, it's got a different energy to it. Like the first one was more aggressive, this one feels more pensive, kind of, you know, more back in the day type shit.
Yeah.
So I did what I could with the bars, because I'm not going to lie, this is a time-consuming endeavor, and for all y'all real fans of these dudes, especially from the UK end of it, that can like, because yo, man, sometimes the accent drove me fucking nuts trying to decipher it, and I apologize in advance for not getting everything, because I know I fucked up all over, but all y'all hardcore 4 Owls fans that totally get the accent, please help these dudes out with transcribing the lyrics and getting them some SEO equity. And if the 4 Owls want to get those lyrics pulled, fair enough, but it would help them, in my opinion, if you did that shit. Anyway, Dude 1 starts the track off in a more serious way. It's my home stamp, firm to my place like a statue. So I kind of like that, you know, just that idea, right? So like he's rapping where he's coming from, but like a statue is kind of a symbolic reference of where you're from, but it is also firm in place. I'm like, well done. When I zone, watch it thrown, got some words that will slap you, son. I have to weave up some shit that will be bad for you if you rap to. Carving in words like tattoos, permanent feature. I live here. It's a fact you've been there, but you didn't do it like we did, yeah. And I was like, oh. So he kind of is coming through. I feel like this might be like talking to the youth, talking to a younger generation. And again, I don't know. I know these cats is kind of older than me, I got the assumption of. So late 30s type shit, given that they've been rapping for as long as they have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, they all had, like, careers before the 4 Owls was the general gist of how I got it.
Okay.
But, like, you just got this energy, but it's just, like, even, like, it's just, like, we're different, we're better, we're realer, we come through, and it's just the way he, like, flows it, like, you been there, we did, yeah, just the way you rhyme that, to me, it was so fucking cool, like, sorry, it's clear, it's the next line, just keeping it flowing down, but also driving that point home. So I love the way they write this one. I think it's a lot more interesting. I also like one more line a bit later on. Gas burned off like altar when the mist clears. And I'm like, that's a pretty great idea, because you can kind of picture like a bunch of weed smoke, or you can picture the flames of his fuel and heat destroying, but ultimately creating this mist and then it being done, and you've seen the results of it. I just thought it was so strong. And then dude 2 killed me with the first line on his verse. My stock rise when I drop lines. And I'm like, that's a great lyric, man. That's a fucking cool bar. That means that every time he opens his mouth, effectively his equity rises, which I relate to. Is it a high value of my stock rising when I open my mouth? I don't know, but even if we make like 37 cents on this video, boom, just by talking, 37 more cents, motherfucker. Nah, but I feel it, right? Because it's got this quality. It's basically saying when I do a verse, it enhances my shit. You lot might do it. Yeah, it's good, but it's not right. Oh, so he's kind of pointing out the effective quality of verses doesn't even make sense. So it's like, yo, it sounds alright, but it's not right what you guys are doing. There's like a problem with it. And I thought that was such a fascinating way to criticize, but like keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
Like it's actually tapping into what a lot of people feel the problem is, but not from a but from a fuck y'all, man. Look, y'all are getting yours. I respect the grind almost, but like you gotta admit it's a little weird what you're doing. So I appreciate the tone, and their attitude is gonna be consistently this the whole, like they are fucking legitimate. You know why I say? Because 14 tracks and every track has the same fucking attitude. To me, that's a mark of legitimacy. I mean, y'all might disagree with me, but yo, I don't doubt it at all. Anyway, much like what guys, my mind grows on trees, much like lost my blot, write the story down, what it's all about. You follow the picture quicker than you could imagine. It was magic in a sense, and it's just like goes on to like feel like reflecting and coming back, and how like they were not necessarily successful. So I get the feeling listening to this track that the Four Owls have achieved a successful career, but not maybe the fame and accolades per se.
Okay.
And then they're coming through and they're kind of almost giving this cautionary tale of the struggle of dealing with that. Like, and this whole track feels like we're coming home and now we had these punks giving us attitude. Now we're trying to recapture the moment in the second verse. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. Then you get the third verse from Dude 3, coming back with a meta like a war veteran, beat city like a shot of pure adrenaline. My bars are like a universe, a place you've never been. Before my last act, with my head severing, attack the potency that ain't measuring. Modern science looking at us like it's witchcraft. We metal, we skip class to sell the thing, drug wrapped in the sell the fame. After the oust came, we see that it meant the same again. Guys ruined everything around me. I gave her cream.
That's a cool line, for sure.
It's too good. No, but like for real, man. So now they're coming through and they got the whole situation and just the whole double edit. When he says the sell of fame, I'm pretty sure he says sell to fame. Like drug rap, sell to fame. Like these people selling out their music and shit. And he's comparing the whole fucking drug dealing game to the fucking music game and how he's whipping that shit. So some people's just whipping up shit in the kitchen, dropping the bars and they're missing it, keeping it whacking it, tripping. And then other people's coming in like, what the fuck they's doing over here. After the oust came, we meant the same thing. Anyway, Gaz ruined everything around me instead of cash. Because Gaz is also like fucking weed, if I'm not mistaken. So it's almost like drugs, or maybe, I don't know if Gaz has other meanings in the UK. Did I look it up? No. Still, I love how he doubles down and I gave her cream. Almost like he traded sex for drugs or something. It's fucking great, man. It's just like bars. Like you have to think about it. Like you sit there going, oh shit. So if you into that, this is your kind of album. Plus British accents. Come on. I watch BBC half of it's the accents, okay? Just hearing British. Top Boy is dope because they're just saying shit with a British accent and they're saying bruv instead of like cuz or something. And when you say bruv, it just sounds harder to me. I'm sorry. That's just the truth of it. There's nothing harder than that grimy, poor UK accent. I burn this home like the red is the fourth dude. They say home is where the heart is. Touch the cardiac arrest. I'm like, oof. He's so fucking good that like his home is always where he's at, and I don't know, it stops hearts. I'm not explaining that well. It's just dope. I'm the rarest to mint, like a marshal in the flesh. I be starving with Spartans. I'm possessed, throwing darts in your head, lad. Cause Spartans had the fucking spears and shit, and he's fucking verbally throwing them darts at you. It's just fucking solid. Start up back, rabbits in the head, lad, etc. Basically, they fucking OGs. 4.5 on 5. Gangster shit right here. I really like gangster in the spirit of it. The level of not give a fuck these men have is pretty ridiculous. Plus, They feature Kool G Rap on the next song, so show some fucking respect, everyone. Pioneers up in here. All right, Bonnie, talk to us. Tell us the deets.
I don't have too much to say about this one, really.
Bars.
Yeah, I'll leave that with you. I don't know. I'm less in love with the beat on this one. The rhymes are still really great, though. But I do like this one a little bit less than the previous two. I don't know. That's really pretty much all I have to say. I like the last verse with like the whoa whoa whoa. That's there.
When they rap, my reaction's always whoa. But as in whoa whoa whoa. When I see the po-po, life it moves in slow-mo.
Yeah, I liked all that part. That was cool. So
excellent.
Like, see, I knew what I was talking about, but I'm like, I'm just not talking about it. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's just a cool song. I give this one a 4.35 on 5.
Nah, whoa, whoa, whoa part, like the whole shit cuts and like just theatrically, like whoa, whoa, it's just a pure juxtaposition. That to me is excellent writing. And the way they fucked up the whole song for it was really well done.
Yeah.
So this song's, I guess, we are pioneers, OG legends coming through. You can't, and the core theme of a lot of these tracks, you can't fuck with us, we the real deal.
Yep.
So first dude's like, yo, it shines in the mirror that depicts your apprehension. I can tell that you're pretending. And he has more of like that kind of a cadence flow. And at that point I realized not only are they word playing it like motherfuckers, bouncing off these beats like motherfuckers, and again, this beat's kind of a very core constant sound repeated over, forcing on the vocals, but each guy on each song is constructing completely different flows. And if you were to like map out a visual rhythm of the cadence points to see a lot of flows, a lot of rappers' flows would look very similar across songs. These guys brought unique flows. And this is going to be a strange comparison, but in Rockland, Nickelback is one of the only acts I've covered that consistently on every single fucking track brought a different lyrical rhythm and flow to every single fucking song. And this was their 2017 album. I actually became a huge Nickelback fan after that one.
I mean, I haven't listened to any of their newer stuff, but I definitely liked their older stuff. In
terms of Chad Kroeger's ability to be different on every song, that is actually a rarity in what I've seen in a lot of that like world, without talking shit, because there's a lot of great artists out there. But in pop rock, come on, Chad Kroeger is a weird anomaly.
He's a good old Canadian boy.
And again, you might hate Nickelback, and it's a weird comparison, but it's just the versatility is extremely impressive. How every beat gets a unique flow from every guy. That's talent. Anyway. So he can tell that you're pretending. Attack him with the venom, then tell him the antidote and selling. I'll be here at 11. My best advice is not forgetting. Best to check your head. More like, anyway. Is it like super next level-y, whatever? Kind of, yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy listening to it. I don't have a lot to comment on it. It's clever. He's attacking him with venom, and then he's giving you the antidote, which is his fucking music. So he's coming at you with a harshness like venom, but the antidote, so he doesn't come after you, is in the blueprint of how he slices you up. It's fucking dope. Anyway, I like when it goes, my sector's rare, kidnap the beat and dissect the snare. Fans will get it clear before they see the real. Anyway, I just like the way he like fucks at the beat and shit. And then a bit later on, he's like a drug dealer, I'm known for working with G Raps. That is the most dad joke shit on this whole fucking album. Not even gonna lie. But the fact that they made the dad joke sound gangsta, that's
They tried.
Anyway, following him up a little bit later, and seriously, the verses are good. I'm not even trying to downplay that a little bit. I'm blown away by the talent. Kool G Rap comes through. Listen, Kool G Rap, I like him now. I understand how cool he is.
Yep.
But the way he just kind of flowed was actually super fresh. Definitely old man. Definitely fresh. Something today with I wrote something today with a solemn, then popping my collar for scholar meant when I was a child, I'd say my life challenge was bringing dollars in. Lost history, we lost in this misery. Lost ones, the slums cost miserably. Running these vicious streets. And then he goes on for a while. And I'm like, well, I appreciate how he's rhyming. And I like the fact that he's kind of reflecting a little bit on what life was like back in the day and kind of the mentality that brought him to where he is, etc. I'm like, that's a pretty good verse, Kool G Rap.
Yep.
And it's so swell of them to give him that. And you know what's crazy? I've talked about Kool G Rap twice in the last 4 weeks now. That's a lot of Kool G Raps out of nowhere. So I really love the fact that like we're able to take these old timey legends and bring them back in like that. That's actually really dope.
I like that. That's really cool.
Then the next dude kicks in. You know, the cycle's never ending, man. It's really no surprise. Years keep on floating by. We're getting over time in the confines of it till your sober mind caught up in the mid that live between the lows and the highs. And I love that part, you know, because your sober mind caught up the mid. That's in like the regular between the lows, like when you're crashing, and the highs when you're fucking floating. And just the idea of like as time's passing, it's almost like you get pushed more into a middle focus that you're kind of aiming for between all of the shits. But it's like the place that I find my high seems to blow my mind, and the lows that got me looking like a broken guy talking from another realm like a poltergeist. Careful what you feed your mind. Take your own advice. And I'm like, that's true. Motherfuckers can't take their own advice. I can preach for fucking days about all the things everyone around me should do. I don't anymore. Like, I do it a lot less. Because, I mean, I started working on myself, and so I don't have fucking time for other people. But back in the day, before I took my own advice, I gave everyone else advice. But then I started taking my own advice, and yo, dude's got a fucking point. And as we'll come to see later on the album, another core theme on this album is growth. So we get this kind of almost story arc through the album. It's really fucking loose. But sound the alarm, we coming through. Coming home, we coming back after our shits, because they've been touring and they've been doing their whatevers. Pioneer. Yo, motherfuckers don't know who we are. We are this. So, like, you can kind of see this tone coming through as it kind of flows each track. And I really like that element, too. Anyway, second dude's verse is fucking dope. Love the idea of how he rhymes it all, too. Third dude's like, listen up. This shit's a hoax like the Truman Show. And I'm like, that's a great fucking bar.
Yeah, Truman Show is a great movie.
And the music industry actually is a lot like the Truman Show. So that's fucking nuts. So is life, if you think about it, without a big brothery and snitching. Like, yo, look, all the people around Montreal at the canal over the weekend that was not respecting social distancing practices is a bunch of assholes that clearly want to fuck up the city, as our rates are not doing better than like the rest of Quebec will say. Fine. All the people that filmed them and snitched, it's like y'all are just... What is your goal? What are you doing? You're just feeding the government crap.
Snitches get stitches. You gotta remember that.
This shit's like the Truman Show. So every day I stay high like a UFO. A little Joe get flicked, life's a beauty. On the girl, got you in the trap though. The curse of booty, bro. I'm like, whoa, maybe we're also kind of questioning some of the struggles along the way if they're like how they're dealing with all this. And plus the idea, the curse of booty, bro. The way he rhymed it to it, the bro, it just sounded fucking great. But it's like, oh man, girls are trapped sometimes. Not always. Sometimes they're lovely and sometimes they're your lady friend Bonnie.
That's right.
But sometimes they're traps and they really do eat your time and you're just going through for the booty. Man, I run the door. I'm grinding on my own. Crackheads in the throwing mad homeless folk on every road. Place becomes a fucking joke. And his verse is sick, and I got lazy with the bars. I even wrote that in my notes that I got lazy transcribing. But the rest of his verse is pretty sick, and I love the more political tones on it. Last dude with the cool whoa 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 part does start off his verse proper. Overly ready, know we be heavy, know where I'm heading, but know they get deaded. Just that rhyming, like he does it perfectly. Like every fucking syllable when he does it is flawless. Something said it, forget it, but you got no credit. Hill climber, spellbinder, rhymes wear designer words. Did he just say his rhymes are wearing designer words? I have never heard a rapper use designer in that context and make it fly. Like, he doesn't need Hermes. He can just... I know one of them says commiserate, and we're going to talk about that. Commiserate's a motherfucking designer word, okay? I heard him every time that track came up. I think it's even maybe the next one or soon after. Oh my gosh. Commiserations is how he drops it, and I had to Google it to remember it. Because, yo, Sid Gann on my project says commiserate.
Blink-182.
That's fine. It's still a great word. That's a designer motherfucking word. And what's respect, man? Something, man, I'm British. Rap is my fetish. Oh, it's fucking cool, okay? Rap is my fetish too, for real, in the same way, man. I fucking feel this shit. 4.5 on 5. Again. Because, again, it's consistent. There is a couple of tracks, I'll be honest, that I'm not giving the full 4.5 to. And a lot of it's stylistic preference on the beats, because this shit is going to be one of the most consistent projects we are going to come across. On that note, let's keep the consistency coming, because, we gotta be free and eat some supper soon. Okay, Bonnie, Tell us about being free.
Well, it's obviously about the need to be free. It kind of has like a positive sounding background. It's sort of like spiritual kind of sounding. I really like that. I really like this song. So about the realities, of life, but a reminder that we all need to be free, and sometimes we need to just free ourselves from, whatever place or bad situation you're in. You've only got one life, so give it your all, live freely, do what you can do. Just kind of escape your bad situation and, be free, be yourself. I really like the sounds of some of their like British accents. Like it's just nice to kind of like hear them really like come through in like their music. And because sometimes maybe just British people, just because like we expect to hear like their accent, like sometimes it's barely there. So I kind of appreciate like how down and gritty they are. That was terrible. But you know what I mean, how like gritty they were. Or at least how they sound, I guess. I don't know. It's cool. And like how you have to like work hard to be free, and it's not just necessarily always something that you're going to have, and sometimes it's like a real struggle there. I just sort of just like a reminder to allow yourself to leave all like the negativity in your life behind, no matter what it is, whether it's a situation, whether it's an emotional situation, whether it's people, whatever, that you need to just leave them behind so that you can be free and live your life and just like do what you need to do for yourself. So I think it's a good message. I don't know. I like these guys. They are cool. They do seem like wise owls. So I gave this one a 4.35 on 5.
So this track was really interesting to me because as a 32-year-old male with, I hope he doesn't watch this, real shit father figure in terms of like parental role models, I find myself looking to media sources for like influence on maybe alternatives to how to be a man that maybe at home I wasn't getting in a good capacity. So what I really appreciate about what they're doing here is they've established their pioneers, that they've been around, and that they're fucking good. So effectively what they've done is they said, we're kind of older and we kind of know some shit, so trust us. Even in the last track, we'll sell you the fucking antidote. And then in the next track, what's the antidote? Oh, I mean, maybe it was 2 tracks ago. I don't know. Be free. And then they start talking about their, like, growth process on how they learn to free their minds of the dark shit that maybe encompassed them being, and in other tracks we'll find out, maybe a little wilder when they were younger. So I was, like, blown away by the overall maturity. Plus, the song gets a hook. That's not common. I guess we're at track 4. First hook. Give you an idea of the kind of rappers they is. Why is my grammar so bad today? Who cares? Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. If you can't free your mind, you may not see the message. I'm like, damn, man, that's as concise. That's like every self-help book. Well, that's part of a lot of self-help books, but like a good chapter broken into a few words there. Breathe easy, meditate, see the lesson, progress into another phase, but keep the essence. I relate a lot to this, actually, through my own life, right? Go watch one of my 2017 videos. Go watch one of this one. You'll see what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to, like...
Growth is always happening.
Free your mind, in a sense. Meditate. Clear out the negative energies and shit. Free your mind from the prisons of hate and negativity that keep you from seeing the lessons and progressing to another phase. But, yo, if you watch that 2017 video, you'll still see I'm the same motherfucker I was, just... maybe kinder and not so dark. I'm less dark than I used to be. But I kept the essence of who I am, and that has remained pure to myself, and I think everyone should do that. So seeing them lay down the blueprint to how I try to live my life so cleanly, it's just amazing. It makes me want to listen to them more and learn from them and talk to them and get some like old man wisdom. Maybe not that old. I don't actually know. I didn't check. Not getting caught with the indecision. Holy shit, that's what fucks everybody up. Everyone's like, I can't decide what I want to do. Fuck that. Start walking and pivot. That's how everybody does life. No, for real. Oh, you want to blog? Start blogging. You hate blogging? Try videos. If you hate that, try this. Keep flowing. Keep trying. Keep moving. Just don't be indecisive, because that's when you sit there and watch Netflix for 6 days. Following the inner vision, overcome the limitations. Holy shit, visualize your future. Plan out your success points. Fucking follow through on it. Oh, they say you can't do it? Fuck that. Achieve, overcome, conquer. This motherfucker's spitting some bars. That's all I'm trying to say. That's how to succeed in life. Be free. Honestly, song blew me away. Not getting caught with... Anyway, I said that part. A lot to take into consideration. He's right. It is a lot to consider when you start going down this quest. And it's not simple. Like the year spent writing down in the basement. Hate to see us win? Oh well, commiserations. So the commiserations... I actually forgot what I meant. I should Google that just to make fucking certain that we get this one right. But basically what they're saying is we continued to grind, we continued pushing, and look at that, we're fucking winning.
Isn't it like commiserate,
to feel
like come together?
or express sympathy. It's real good. That bar's dope. So he's like, oh, you hate to see us win? Well, fuck you. I feel sorry for your hatred of our success. But it's almost like in that bar, he's saying like, look, that's not the way to live. Anyway. Goes on, is real dope. Second dude comes through. Yo, the rain set, the sound poor. Can't remember what I even came for. On tour, fans say they want more. Looking more stuck, now I unsure. Caught up by the love that was once pure. So what's freedom? Something you earn or you believe in? I guess the essence is still believing. And I didn't write anything more, but a lot of the tone shifts to like how to stay pure. Almost like admitting after this like hard set how to do it in the first verse, but like, yo, all of a sudden it's fucking hard and it's not simple and it's a confusing thing. Yeah. And what is faith in your principles? And I thought that just the multiple shades of emotion surrounding the topic actually give a more complex thing to the journey. Anyway, then there's a hook, and it's the same thing with all the hooks I found when they did have them. It's off-timed, and when they repeat it, they cut a line, and it's just fucking weird. And I love how it flows into the track because I don't hear a lot of people dropping hooks on the timing they do. But it's cool. It's like, be free. It's all I ever really wanted us to be. Take a moment. Let us make a memory. Escape the pain and find freedom in your dreams. You hold the power in your soul, so let it be. Free. It's all I ever really wanted us to be. And then escape the pain. And it's like it skips a line and then continues to finish it. And I'm like, that's pretty good, but that's weird. But they did it in another chorus, so I'm like, what the fuck?
Done on purpose.
Anyway, next dude, something like a state of mind or a way of being, but when you're trapped or in a thing you're seeing, they tell you free your mind, but might not know a thing they're speaking, because when they're full of shit, you're bound to see a bit leaking. And I'm like, ooh, that's the best full of shit bar ever, because if you pay attention to it, and when people try to talk shit, and they're full of shit, it's going to be some leaking down the leg and whatnot. Ew. In the sense that with their words, there's a little bit leaking out their mouth, a little bit of the poop coming out of their mouth. And I'm like, dude, that was just, it was one of those bars that really stood out to me. Like, oh, it's just they splitting that real shit to me. I don't know. I've described it a bunch. You got to go for own. Cause shit, no one can stop you when you're in the zone. A couple artists' heads swelling, slap to the dome. You got to control your ego. I know it's hard when your reach reaches a couple 100,000 people. Fucking stay humble when you start to make it. It's hard, we get it. We're actually seeing some of that fame and shit, but that doesn't make it appropriate behavior.
Yeah.
Here's the blueprint for success, motherfuckers. Then the next verse. Well, work is taking over my life. Sit in my free time. I just want to chill with my wife, but still I'm thinking, but the hustle and grind deep down is not right. I'm like, is he kind of addressing how like his workaholic addiction is maybe complicated when he should be at home enjoying time with his lady friend? And then he's going to end the verse kind of dedicating this to his unborn child, which is also really sweet. You ain't one of those guys. I got to reflect, take a step back in the vibes, delegate more tasks, and be free of the strife. So what he's saying here, if you really hear that, is if you want to have a fulfilling life and actually be free, you can't do everything. Sometimes you have to find people that work with you and give it up so that you can enjoy a Friday night getting a blowjob on the couch from your wife. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. 4.5 on 5. Wonderful experience.
Okay.
The next song is called Honor Codes.
All right.
All right, Bonnie, how do you feel about honor codes?
So oddly enough, even though this is one of the few that has lyrics, it's like one of the ones that I feel like I have the least to say about. Like I just found it like I was reading through it and I just couldn't figure out what exactly like the main focus was, other than like I guess it's about them continuing to keep trying, like in life and like in their music and everything, and they're not in this just because they're here to make money or anything like that. They, or because they love it. It's something that I guess it is something that they love now, but like, it was a way out of a bad situation. And that's kind of what I'm getting from it. I feel like it's really fine. It definitely like works on the album. It tells kind of like their story. And like that it wasn't necessarily like an easy thing, or an easy life that they had before. But yeah, it's a fine song. 4.25 on 5.
Alright, so again, I'm going to use the names as they appear in the track, don't I? Honestly, I'm sorry, I don't know which one's which. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this song's about integrity in the game, right? So after talking about being free or whatever, they move on to another angle of this shit. So you see it right on the jump, right? Can you make a change? Trying to honor codes when we play the game. So it's like, when you're trying to pursue it, do you make the right choices? Do you actually like adhere to a code of ethics as you pursue your world? And then bird tea, whichever one it is. Never like to hold a grudge because the weight is heavy. I never like the fact that I can feel the hate possess me. Why lose faith in yourself? Follow the nature that dwells close to your heart, and you can find a way to excel. So it's that sense of like, again, moving on. It's almost like another way to achieve being free. So don't hold grudges. Don't let the hatred stay in your heart and feel negativity, because that shit is going to keep you from achieving the higher ends of what you're trying to make of your life. I came for the belt. I'm grading myself. Even if I'm taking an L, I'm learning like I had the plates on, had to slam the brakes on, based on a sci-fi novel no one ever read. It's real life as you see it. I love that, because there's a lot of sci-fi novels no one's ever read. They're all fucking like this big and full of a bunch of... I love sci-fi. Sometimes, man, the people who write this shit, they go like they make Tolkien seem like he has brevity in his fucking life, okay? Tolkien wrote 3 pages on fucking elf bread, and they make him seem like he's brief. Anyway, so I love the sense of learning from your mistakes and growing and all that other shit. But then there's the line, they make comparisons and your grade is an F. Like, yo, fuck off, man. You losers are just doing this shit. That's how you end up there. Anyway, then Deformed Wing does the next verse. I'm trying to remain while the new are here. See the pressure's on to change like a souvenir. It's hard to endure trying to get signed like an in-store. Most of them blind to what they're in for. Never sell yourself short if you know the profit. Hits coming out the green like I overshot it. We knew the logic. And so, effectively... I feel like this is commentating on the lust for the money acquisition of people who kind of sign to labels and don't really understand it. Yo, I kind of like this sign like an in-store, because like an in-store autograph signing, that's a cool bar. Like nobody uses that. So I thought that was cool. But it's almost like, yo, check it. You guys aren't playing the game right. You're not actually, controlling your situation. I like when it goes, when it comes to real work, you can tell who's in on it. And I like that too, man, because you really can. You can tell the difference between an album reviewer on the internet, in my opinion, who's listened to the album like once, an album reviewer who's put some time and effort into the album. As an example, half of Anthony Fantano's reviews, no hate, the guy's amazing. But half of these reviews is dude listened to it one time and put like no thought into it. And that's why he has so many reviews. It's not like dude sitting there playing these albums 6 times over trying to find the nuances of every project. Let's be real here. Anyway, uninspiring. Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of that shit too. Like a reaction. Oh. Anyway, I tried it. I suck at reactions. It's fine. From the site eyeing him, challenge him. Cyanide lines would be supplying him. Defend the art I put my whole life into. Can you tell from the start that loyalty ain't in you? And that's what it is. Like, if you come in from the point of legitimacy and authenticity, you effectively deliver cyanide to your fucking enemies who's in here for the fake reasons. Because, yo, I'm willing to fucking suffer to pursue this dream. Like, literally suffer and kill myself trying to chase it. that takes a level of commitment that a motherfucker chasing dollars won't do. They'll pivot. They'll fucking leave. Anyway, then you got the chorus. Can you make the right choice? Can you make a change? Can you take the weight? Can you make it gain? We're trying to honor codes when we play the game. Stay shining light so the truth won't fade away. So effectively, like, when push comes to shove, are you going to do the right things to make your bag? Or are you just going to make your bag? You know, those aren't the same things. Maybe there's just different approaches. I thought it was really dope. Big Al in the next verse. It's again, it's really going to make your path change. Looking for the exit out. We move into a Stargate. Oh, Stargate SG-1 is my favorite show of all time. It is number one on my list of shows. So you drop a Stargate bar? That is nice. Because that's what a Stargate would be. You'd be coming through for an exit out of a situation because they're coming in hot. And you have to find the Stargate to get off the planet or whatever. I know, it's fine. That bar is dope.
Like it's an actual gate with stars all over it?
It's like well, it's because they're gates between different planets. So it's like a wormhole between two gates. So it's a star gate as you travel through the stars at like astronomical speeds. You go. Anyway, it's a great bar. And if y'all don't like Stargate, the fuck's wrong? Richard Dean Anderson, as in fucking MacGyver, he carries the show. It's so good. Anyway. Plus Teal'c, Christopher Judge is gangster. Anyway, that's the time you're looking for some parking. I'll be darting in the fast lane. That's the time I'm living in. The mission is so fast paced, always on the next thing. It's the vision that'll get you in position for the place you want to live in. If you ain't got vision, then you'll stay in place. You eat, sleep, and shit in. Basically, he's gonna keep going. Be fucking dope. And you can achieve your greatness through dope bars. And he kind of kills it in terms of the essence, and they kind of double down on that message. I do like when he's like every millisecond's different, bring the color like on pigment. Get it? Because he's bringing pigment. And like I just love that like designer language that they drop in their fucking words. Rusty Takeout does the last verse. The game's a bitch, but I married it. Give a fuck if you can hold it down, man. I want to see you carry it. Oh, holding it down is one thing. He wants to see you lift the game, elevate, and help motherfuckers. He don't care if you hold down your little thing. Let's talk about the game as a whole. I love it. Twinkle eyes see them hypnotized by glamour shit. A thin line between rap and acting like a skit. Can they manage it? Oh shit, are you gonna be a little sellout punk? You gonna be proper? Anyway, it's the same shit. And we're watching Schitt's Creek, so they're piss weak. So here's Schitt's Creek. But we're watching. I don't think they're related. It's just up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Singing to them, guardian of the arts, and my heart says I should bring it to them. Everyone gets in this for different reasons. Someone I get the peas and gets to the. I guess that's pounds because it's fucking England. Mm-hmm. That's not what we call them. I guess the peas would be like to me pounds of weed. Anyway, or front like fake cheese and chuck the cheese in. I don't know what's funnier or worse, them or the fact that people actually believe them. Bruh. they're just laying it down, but they've got this bluntness to it where it's like, you know what, I normally hate when a bunch of underground motherfuckers come out the mainstream, but that's not what this is. This is real hip-hop motherfuckers coming at fake hip-hop motherfuckers.
Yep.
Kind of like 92. That's dope. I'm into it. Guess what I gave it? 4.5 on 5.
All right.
Well, let's talk about lifelines. Guess what? They can rap slow too. Not that it's the slowest, but one thing I learned is there's one thing to be able to pop up at a quick kind of a speed and kind of flow it through because it's kind of easy to feel the rhythm. But when you do the slow rap, it's a lot more about the timing intact. And
can't fuck it up.
It's so much easier to make mistakes when it's slow. It's like so much easier. So I love the fact that they can make the flow trickier at a slower tempo. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this song?
Yeah, I definitely noticed that it was slower in beat as well, but the rhymes were still hella tight. And basically just be careful who you trust. Align yourself with like good people, like have like a good crew, and just sort of like it's telling about who you are by like the type of people that you hang out with. So find yourself like a trustworthy group of people. Have friends that might die for you, like things like that. Have people that you really love. And it's an interesting point. I don't know if I've ever really thought about if I would actually die for like my friends. So, but
she has. I brought that up. There's no way she hasn't thought about it.
Maybe I have. I guess I don't know. But I mean, I don't want to. I don't want my friends to die for me. I don't want them to die. Period. So So it's pretty interesting though, and not necessarily something that we hear about all the time. Like to like a reminder, like you hear about like guys having like their crew, but I feel like this is sort of like a reminder to do that, like, kind of like let go, be free of like the people that are holding you down and that may not fit into like this sort of category of like these are the kind of people that you need to have with you. So just a reminder, to kind of let people go if you need to. That's kind of what I took it with it. So I mean, it definitely flows with like the rest of the album. So I gave it a 4.25.
That's right. We are continuing on the dad lessons of the situation because, like I said, from Be Free, it's like, yo, you need to be free spiritually. Honor codes. Here's a way to get there. Respect the codes of the world. Another way to get there. The lifelines of your life. It's an important way to put the friends and circle around you. Anyway, the rhyming's fucking fresh. Leaf Dog kills it on the beat. I'll be honest, slower, less of a preference. So 4.35, mostly because I wasn't feeling the beat as much, but the rapping and everything else is tight. I don't want to take away from the quality of the song because my preferences are not there, Yo, the mad alchemist out the miss now opposite, so the only chemistry connected without the wrist. I'm like, okay, I think that's a gun bar, maybe.
Alchemy is like,
I know, but
stuff
then it connects to the chemistry without the wrist, like
the chemistry goes into alchemy.
I know that. I caught that connection.
Oh, okay.
But then connected without the rest. Once you're back around the people that start to this, it's something we often miss. You got feelings, options, chemical equation where you get your information. The murder, usually the game state, and after kids something. I don't know what he said there. Have to admit we did some mad shit, something in the sand pit. And you just kind of get the sense that, I don't know, maybe they make great music. And at the end of the day, when you're feeling the pressures of life, maybe you make some bad choices. And I think he's kind of trying to set up the preface with this verse that ultimately they became like stones to diamonds and improved, but that process involved a lot of rough shit in the beginning. So when you flow into the second verse, so now we watch close all the people around us, like there's almost a reason for that introduction to that verse because the world was shady for them for a minute. Who's the ones gassing you up and who's keeping you grounded? Yo, I fucking hate getting feedback on my music. People just gas you the fuck up. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to Elijah Wadowski, who's never going to watch this. That motherfucker gives the best feedback. He'll nitpick it to fucking death. It's so obnoxious to listen to, but he's not a yes man. And when it comes to like artistic growth, for every 100 people that offer you feedback, if you find one useful nugget of feedback in there because they actually understand what the fuck they're talking about, it's real dope. You know what's crazy? Artists barely give me feedback because they're just like, yo, let's respect each other's art and shit. And we just like, they know that I'm gonna ask for feedback if I want. But it's more like artists respect the fact often that I'll ask for feedback if I'm really looking for it. And sometimes I'm making bad art choices because I'm an artist. I'm just expressing shit.
Yeah.
Or like this podcast, I've been told to make this shorter by most people who don't watch this show.
I guess so.
I mean, like
their opinion counts.
Who am I listening to? The people who are never gonna watch the hour-long videos? They're trying to make me conform to making something different. Yo, I watch hour-and-a-half-long videos on YouTube. It's.
I mean, I watch them at like 1.5 speed, but
which I expect all of you to be doing. So I'm kind of like,
yeah.
But like,
I love that. I can't go back to just watching it at slow, regular pace now.
But what I'm saying is, I'm making the show I will watch. Okay, I'm not making the show that Joe Blow in the corporate office space giving me opinion would never watch wants to see. Mm-hmm. He has a million of that. It's called algorithm playing motherfuckers. It's boring. I'd rather do this shit, which is effectively me flossing about doing my hip-hop homework, okay? That's what I'm doing. I'm flossing. That's what we're doing here. We're proving that we give a shit about the culture empirically. Anyway. So I just thought that was cool. Some inspire and some will fill your mind with only hatred. Certain partnerships will leave you guilty by association. Bright ideas are formed when debating. That's when the heads you mix with formulate for greatness. Many times when the pain hits and I'm fading, the words you speak make me feel a deeper salvation. Very needed. Feel the team with people calling in the same direction. We can all enjoy the benefits when we make progression. Pick friends who uplift. And I'm like, yo, he's got such a powerful point. If you pick up hang out with the negative fuckers, it's a lot of bad that happens. A good example is Montreal's local hip hop scene. It's a lot of dudes, honestly, and I watch a lot that happens on social media. So obviously I can't say names because some of them may actually watch this and whatnot. I don't want to be that negative Nilly, but like, they could benefit from hearing this, man. We are not benefiting by our competition of all of us trying to be the best. We are not benefiting by the hatred that comes between the different packs, the language division in our city. There's no progression because nobody's trying to uplift. And when I say nobody, obviously I don't mean that there aren't individuals, but I would say that the people who are thriving and getting numbers are doing so on drama, and that means the honest people just don't get numbers, kind of like real life. So it's unfortunate to see that shit. It's bad for our scene, and it makes it toxic, and it makes all the middle class, honky software motherfuckers not want to give a shit about our scene. All the people with the middle class money that could be financing us are going to see the rock and metal shows. So guess what scenes are doing good? Anyway. Next verse. Bad reactions mixed with the wrong factions. That's why you may have seen me acting like a twat back then. I love that. Just the honesty. I relate. That's exactly kind of what I was like. Yep. Don't blame where you come from. Truth is who you run with. Done plenty of dumb shit, dumb kids, because it's fun. Hard stop. Fair. I'll be honest. We all did dumb shit, and a lot of it is who we hung out with, not where we come from, because somebody right up the street from you hung out with a different crowd and behaved different, you know? Anyway, quick living individuals combining for the funds quick, ripping into dipping, go home, cry to your mom, don't be blind to the sun, cut them off with the vampiring. And I love that line because that means if they like a succubus tapping into your soul and draining both your monies and your spiritual energies and the various forces of your creativeness, or if they're just taxing you in some way, they like a fucking vampire. Don't be friends with that motherfucker. And yo, I speak to the younger folk in the audience because I know you jaded old folk is cutting motherfuckers off left, right, and center because we all fucking jaded in our 30s. But if you're still in your 20s and you think loyalty to these fucking people matters, honestly, it's amazing how your best friend of a decade turns into an asshole because of a girl. And shit like that might happen in your life. So don't just trust people. Trust the value people bring to your life. And if a motherfucker, after 10 years, stops bringing you value, this is going to be the coldest shit. But cut them off. I don't even talk to my own blood brother to this day for over almost a year and a half, 2 years, for reasons like this. He's a fucking vampire to my soul. And until he can't be a vampire no more, I can't speak to him. And he's my fucking blood. So I do not believe blood is thicker than water. I believe that motherfuckers bring value to your life, and you either uplift your soul and you keep them around as your chosen family, or you fucking cut them off cold turkey because you can't handle that shit and nobody can. And that's why nice people fucking finish last, because they don't have the balls to stop doing the drugs of helping people. Helping people. For those listening, only I put quotation marks up. And that's doing drugs. When you fucking deal with other people's problems to stop fucking succeeding in life, it's just bullshit. Tangential and stuff, but that's what got me inspired. Anyway, next verse. Yeah, like an open book, you can always flip the page, never fell salt in the wound, because that manipulates you like people's ulterior motives. You'll run unfavorable, you rise to the peak of the moment like the summer sunshine on the eve of the solstice. Grind hard and the rewards come. But that's kind of what he's saying, right? Grind hard and the rewards come. Do it for the right reasons. Because, yo, all that negative shit, look, man, I spent so much time being negative and salty to a point where all your comments were, fuck you, negative, salty, fat dude with the beard. Bearded guy's an asshole. Fair enough. So now I'm not an asshole no more. We don't get views. But certainly I don't get made fun of in the comments anymore. Goes to show, right? If I was just an asshole, maybe we'd get more views. But I don't want to be that person because I don't think it's going to help me develop business relationships behind the scenes with richer, more successful people. I think being honest is going to be like that. Anyway, I already gave my grade. So, are you ready to move on?
Yep, 100%.
DJ Premier's here, motherfuckers, 100%.
That's right.
I feel like it's DJ Premier does this little intro over like a completely separate beat for like the beginning of this track, and it's just kind of fine. Hypes them up, and then it just flips, and this is the only beat on the project not produced by Leaf Dog, because it features and is produced by DJ Premier. And I like the fact that they feature DJ Premier, because something that's always been baffling to me in a sense is how like okay, I'm going to go off on tangents, but in a lot of ways, the beat maker, and this is like from my experience as a songwriter and working on albums and stuff, these beat makers at least write half the song. It's not like they're my songs. Like, listen, that beat maker gets half the songwriting credits. They get half the songwriting credit money. They're basically featured. All of these beat makers are effectively featured artists on my project. And maybe we should give beat makers more love. That's a food for thought idea. How do you feel about this track?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the beat on this one. I thought it was really interesting. I found it to be like certainly unique, and I'm like, well, I guess that's DJ Premier right there. And like, you know, I thought that was really cool. Like it is unique because of him. The rhyming is fantastic on this one. They have really, really great flows. They really do give it their 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. They're clearly just a bunch of talented guys. This one is more of like a, we here to rap, blah, 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 blah. And, well, not quite like that.
But it is more on that, like the first track, straight grandiose bravado. So it's like, okay, we've clearly been dads for a minute. Let's remind them we got some gangster in our soul.
Yeah, and it's great. You know, like I said, they're a very talented group of guys here. You know, clearly they know what they're doing. I give it a 4.5 on 5.
I like it. I feel like it's a step back into that fucking fresh direction where, I mean, Premier's dope. What can I say? It's hard to listen to a Premier beat and not just hear the excellence of his musicality. He's just really good at what he does. Stylistically, you may not like his choices, but the quality is there, and it's very well mixed, and it's kind of cool that it blends so well on this project. So while, yes, it stands out, and it's pretty good that they put it right in the middle of the album, if you didn't tell me DJ Premier made this, I could have also thought Leaf Dog did it. So I thought that was really cool.
That's nice that they're able to like kind of do that.
BVA is dope. I mean, he starts us off. Yeah, genius is here, so I'm not saying dudes no more. Yo, there ain't no magic here. Rounds hang above your head like a chandelier, usually served and cold like a can of beer. I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is like, and I don't mean it like that. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired now. But like, it's more like, yeah, we in that flossing. Like, I don't need to explain, serve them cold like a can of beer.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do with can of beers, and his bars are pretty fucking cold. First to go bald, they ran in fear. I ain't gassed up, just for the safety, don't hold no candles near. That line I actually really liked. He's not gassed up, so gassed up being like talking shit or hyping yourself up in a preposterous and fake way. But just to be safe, don't bring candles near him, because gas is motherfucking explosive. Anyway, the rest of his verse is pretty cool. I really enjoyed it, for real. Coming through, marking rappers. The one thing murdered it, but this manslaughter, so they give us years. Acting like queens, the head on the currency gone. Ain't fucking with me currently, funny, but don't worry me none. I don't know, I just feel like it's dope. I don't have a lot more to comment. It's just dope. Skill of the tongue, keep it tight like the skin of the drum. Years to come to tell our story like Attila the Hun. So I also kind of like the fact that they're chasing legacy with this. The rhyming is super concise. And maybe a lot of people don't necessarily recognize their shit, but they are coming through, and they are going to fuck up the game with their excellent rhyming. Flip Tricks comes through next. The kings of our throne, the sum of our talents is audible gold. The crown has been handed and put on the robe. Plotted a banquet, it should have been told. We more than established eliminating sellout rappers and their whackness. They're real royalty with that shit. I love the fact that he keeps connecting those medieval, almost feudal system bars. So it's pretty fucking cool. It brings you almost to another era of class and almost chivalry with
cool.
it. They have like that integrity. So you got all these sellout rappers left on the shelves embarrassing themselves. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people locally in my city with more numbers than me today that will not be there in 5 years. I'm gonna be there in 5 years. A lot of these guys are not gonna be there in 5 years. So it's interesting to listen to this. And I guess as I'm not famous in my city, 8 years deep now, which maybe isn't the craziest number, but I'm 8 years into it locally. I've seen a lot, is what I'm trying to say, and you can tell when motherfuckers are making plays that don't make no sense. Either way, I'm kind of like the Owls here. I'd rather play than Biggie, Big Pun or Big L. It's like the idea of just kind of go with these solid rappers, and the fact that they're willing to go back to the influences of skilled MCs that taught them to rhyme better. That's brilliant. Not trying to be like, I'm the greatest of all time and I invented everything. Anyway, it's pretty good. I really like it. I have a lot more to say about this one.
Yep.
Verse. Verb T's also dope, yo. I like, I had them like, yeah, what he said. Trying to hit reset behind 2 or 3 steps in the block, see the higher ground, trying to reach it, climb a ladder at the deep space and the sea sense, strengthen up your defense, blah, blah, blah. We trying to make ourselves better and be the best so that we can hold it down and keep running. That's dope. It's cool. Dad rap shit. Leaf Dog ends us off here. He's like, wanna reach the level, play the right cost, like the Jackson 5, you never see me lead this mic off. Infamous on the tracks like the Great Train Robbery. You talk about the facts like they sounding like comedy. Same kind of shit. I'm sorry if my energy's not in it. It's just, it's flossiness, right? They're dope bars. You go through it. They're a series of one-liner puns. These tracks to me come off like a one-liner comic. If you don't like the bar, just keep listening. He's going to keep throwing bars at you, and shit's just going to pop up. But it is also the kind of song where when you hear it the 15th time, you might catch the essence of a bar for the first time still. And that's why these songs are dope. They give you a reason to come back.
Cool.
Plus DJ Premier sick. So I guess that's enough about that one. I'm going to give this a 4.5. So here's what's up, yo. This is the first half. It's obviously been a while. As we've talked about in the past, we have neighbors, so we can't go too late with this. We will record part 2 real soon. Get that up with the rest of the album.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Ismail, for the request. Thank all of y'all for watching and making our lives dope by giving us a purpose. No, we have a lot going on. But still, y'all are amazing. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Please subscribe, please. You don't have to hit the bell, though. Feel free to like the video if you want, or dislike it if you didn't, and then leave a comment criticizing us. Tell me all the reasons why I'm a Yankee. I would love to know. Do you remember what country I'm from? Anyway, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Lindo Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. They support what we do. Ismail used his Patreon powers to get us to review The 4 Owls, so that was real fun, and we need the support and kind of the money so that we can buy some expensive stuff for our future. So if you want to help us out, it would really fucking help us out. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyway, thank y'all for that. And I got new music coming, like I said, a new single on May 13th. Meanwhile, check the links in the description and show some love. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on whatever you fucking listen to. And please give me a high rating on Google. Anything. I'm begging. Okay.
Okay.
I'm hungry. She's going to get mad. Yo, here's what's up, everybody. Live long and prosper.
Peace.